after reading the Colleen Hoover deposition, I am so irritated because it's very clear and obvious that no one had any idea that Blake had any kind of sexual harassment claims until like at least August, if that even. Um, Everything is in retrospect. Nothing is happening at the time where they're like, oh, they knew all along that Blake had problems with sexual harassment. And what's even more terrible about the Colleen Hoover deposition is that there's the undercurrent of the white feminism there, of course. However, the bigger problem is that didn't verify she didn't verify any of the claims that Blake was making. And so it's not even just that Justin was enduring emotional and psychological abuse from Blake, allegedly, in my opinion. It's also that Colleen Hoover engaged in essentially narcissistic abuse of Justin because she listened to what is essentially a whisper network started by Blake. That whisper network got activated, and instead of Colleen slowing down and verifying with somebody that she's known for years and ensuring that she was making a good, right, and appropriate decision, she cut that person off and started making choices that revoked his power, his autonomy, and his ability to be in leadership. And that is patriarchy and misogyny inverted. She didn't do anything to ensure that she was making a sound decision in an appropriate manner against somebody who may or may not have actually done what was being claimed. And it is so sad because then in her deposition, she's then saying, well, I just felt like he was leaving us out in the lurch. And when you're listening to everything that she's saying, it's sad because she had this expectation that Justin should be, in order to live up to the idea of being a feminist, that he was supposed to turn over and revoke any of his autonomy, any of his power. And if he didn't, then that was proof that he wasn't a feminist. And feminism is about dismantling power structures. It's about asking the questions and then seeking the balance within those structures. It's not about inverting the abuse structure, which is abuse is always at the heart of it a structure of power, of unequal power. And there's one person or entity that is exploiting a vulnerable entity that's below it, essentially. And so she just cut him off. She didn't ask him anything. She didn't clarify anything. She just started making broad decisions in order to keep him from doing anything against the person that she thought might be experiencing bad circumstances with them. And she went off of secondhand claims. And this is punishment. She was withdrawing, she stonewalled him. And then it was like moral distancing. She didn't want to be, I guess, sullied. She kept saying, I didn't want to be the scapegoat. I didn't want to become a scapegoat. So her expectation of him proving that he was a feminist solely meant that he needed to take all of the abuse. And then like even his silence is weaponized. And the problem is that Justin Baldoni was backed into a corner. And when you are a person that is under so much pressure, so much emotional and psychological violence from a growing network of people, it becomes very difficult to say anything without it being weaponized against you, because you've already had very low level things, very innocuous things weaponized against you. And now you're getting down to the point that you know you're painted into a corner, and silence is less about evading accountability and less about guilt and more about de escalation and reducing harm. It's preservation, because he's already in a situation. And when you've been a person who's been in an emotionally and psychologically violent relationship, you understand that sometimes silence is the only thing that keeps you safe. Sometimes silence feels like the only shield that might keep you alive. And what they don't understand is it may not have been to the degree that I just described in a personal relationship that's violent, but when you are in a position where no matter what you say, right or wrong, you're always painted in the light of being wrong, you realize, I can't talk anymore. If I keep talking, it just gets worse. And so Justin was talking about the things that were important to him. And he didn't want to escalate. So it's just, they believed that if he didn't fall on the sword for them, that he therefore was not a feminist. That's not what feminism is.